The Emerging Enterprise Awards are brought to you by OCBC, Asia's best SME bank, and the Business Times.
Did you know that about 75 to 85% of your standard bottle of shampoo is made up of water? Well, this means only 25% of what you find in those bottles are made of the actual active ingredients that you splurged on. And if you think about it, you still need to wet your hair to lather the product when you shampoo. And in fact, that's not all. The hair care industry alone produces over 120 billion units of plastic yearly and is one of the biggest contributors of single-use plastics. Those are the very reasons why Jlynn Chen, founder and CEO of the Powder Shampoo, started her very own shampoo revolution some 2 years back in a bid to do her part for Mother Earth. The Powder Shampoo, as the name suggests, don't require any fresh water during its production, and each customer can save 5 liters of water each time they buy a bottle of powdered shampoo from her brand. Jlynn joins us today to share more about her brand, which is also a winner of the 2024 Most Promising Sustainability Startup Award. Jlynn, good morning and welcome to Money FM.
Good morning, Audrey. So happy to be here.
It's great to have you on. Thanks for joining us to share your eco journey. We know it's only been about 2 years since you've started. Let's start with this award, the Most Promising Sustainability Startup Award. What does that mean to you?
Winning this award is a great validation and a recognition to myself and the team who worked so hard to get to where we are. From the day I came up with the concept of this idea in early 2021 to today, it's been close to 3 years. And me and my team have worked so hard, those who come and gone, my suppliers as well, and other customers. It's just a great validation that this wasn't just a dream that I dreamt up. It is, it came to life.
Yeah.
Like this dream of creating a brand that makes sense to me, that would revolutionize or really change and shake up my industry a little bit, and to give consumers another option out there. There are really good sustainable options in the market. There's just not many of us. So it's good to give consumers an option which they can switch to as more and more of them become more and more eco-conscious. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want you to journey back to 2021. What first triggered the thought of producing shampoos that are not liquid-based? And back then, when you had that idea of making the powdered form of shampoos, did you have the expertise that's needed? And were you worried about how it would be received by the public and by the market?
So back in 2003 is when I started my entrepreneur journey, but as a distributor of beauty brands. So I've been selling lots of skincare, hair care products from all over the world, pretty successfully in Southeast Asia. But I guess as the years progress, I start to get less and less, I don't resonate with the brands I sell. I guess because my lifestyle has changed to become more eco-conscious. And I look at the brands that I represent, they don't reflect what is needed. The ingredients they use, the packaging that they are using don't reflect what I prefer as a consumer. And that was a big thorn. I was hugely conflicted with profiting from a business which I built so hard over 20 years, but yet I have no love for it anymore because they don't resonate. At the same time, I felt there's a huge gap in the market. There's sustainable brands, but yet a lot of them are one size fits all. It feels sacrificial, like I had to sacrifice my beauty or pleasure to be sustainable. So that was something that I didn't like as well. So I felt there's a huge market gap at the same time. And I think that period was COVID, and it kind of got stuck a lot at home.
Yeah.
And I guess it got me thinking a lot, watching all the documentaries. And the more I learned about the plastic pandemic and how bad I've inevitably contributed, indirectly.
All of us.
But I sell a lot of products. So even though I recycle in my own life, in my own home, it's not enough, right? I sell thousands of products on a monthly basis. So I've contributed hugely to this problem. And I guess it's this huge conflict of interest and the sense of guilt that really propelled me and compelled me to, I want to do something about this. I want to create a brand that could feed the needs of this growing eco-consciousness that we have, but yet the products have to be easy to use and has to smell good, has to work. So that really just moved me towards creating this brand. In early 2021, I had the idea and I just worked, threw in everything I had from everything that I made over the 20 years plus all the wisdom maybe I've gathered and experience. So I just threw it in and just worked really hard to come up with this brand. And we launched it in early 2022.
Okay, so our listeners must be really curious. How much experimentation did you have to go through before reaching this final product, this powdered shampoo product that you have on the shelves right now? And what were the key challenges that you faced?
I think I did countless of iterations of the product. I worked with CCTC, which is the Consumer Chemical Technology Centre of Singapore Poly. It's the professional arm that they established back in 2020. And because that was still COVID in 2021, travelling was not an option. I had to really seek within our little red dot to find a solution and find partners to come out with this product that I conceived in my head. And CCTC was the one I worked with because they are chemists. They're able to put together and balance out the product that I wanted. So they came out with the prototype that I was seeking.
Okay.
We made a lot of changes internally, but we finalized it. But when I take it back to produce it, because we produce it in-house in our own factory, it is not the same. When you produce products in a lab, it's always small little quantities just for testing and stability tests and stuff. But when you produce like 100 kg in your factory, you can't make it the same way. So I had to literally, tweak a lot, like a recipe, like making a cake. When you make it one at home versus you make 100 cakes,
Yeah.
it's kind of different. So that was where I got my hands in, and for the first year, every batch of products were produced by me because it was good because I had to really see how can I make the whole flow of the production efficient and well and not clog up because we use so much essential oils and plant oils into the powder, and how do we not kick the powder, things like that. So that was things that I had to do myself. So it's good because we can keep the whole formulation like in-house and secret. You know? That's how we can protect our IP as well. Yeah.
So, a lot of moving parts, and it took you guys some time to come to this final finished product then.
Yeah, a year.
That's quite a long time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
So we know how damaging the beauty industry can be to the planet, right? But from a quantitative point of view, how much of a difference does your powdered shampoo make from production all the way to when consumers buy it and use it?
So many things. For one, I think you mentioned it very, very well. Is a usual, typical liquid shampoo contain easily 80, even 90% worth of water. And we all know that it's a redundant ingredient that we used inside this formulation. Just not producing with water itself saves you at least 5 to 10 liters per shampoo that I sell, depending on the size. That's one. Over and above that, the product's so light. And yet with the small quantity, it gives you 10 times more washes.
Oh, wow.
So it reduces the carbon footprint. So just imagine a 20 milliliters of liquid shampoo, you could probably wash it twice? Your hair is pretty long. You can wash it twice. But for the powder shampoo of 20 grams, you can wash it 20 times. So it's 10 times more.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so that in itself, it saves so much carbon footprint. It also reduces the consumption of products. So on average, we consume 10 bottles of shampoo a year and 11 bottles of shower gel a year.
Oh my goodness, really?
You think about it, how many have you bought this year?
Oh wow, yeah. Now come to think of it.
Actually, right? So if you think about it globally, there's 8 billion of us. If 50% of us do this, you're talking about 84 billion bottles that we consume a year just on shampoo and shower gel. You don't include your detergents, your toothpaste, and all the other bottled drinks that we buy. They're all plastic-based. But this would reduce it by so much. You would probably buy my bottle. The full size is 70 grams. It gives you 70 washes. So you're talking about 2.5 to 3 months if you wash it every day. If you wash alternate days, it's even longer.
Yeah.
So my consumers will come back to buy from me 2 to 3 times a year. So if you think about that, you save money, you consume less, you throw away less as well.
Yes, absolutely. So it's great to see that you're walking the talk, with the fight for sustainability. But very often for consumers, one of the biggest barriers to adopting eco products like yours is higher cost. Usually they just cost more. So what do you do to ensure that your product can be kept affordable for all of us?
This question, I've got 2 answers. Firstly, when you think about cost, we just think about literally all dollars and cents. But sometimes we think about the cost, the long-term consequences we have by going with the cheap, convenient plastic products. The long-term consequences are so much worse. It affects our health, it affects our water scarcity in the world, and the heat becomes overbearing. We can't even step out anymore. So these to me are life-threatening consequences that we will face if we keep continuing our usual single-use plastic consumption ways. So these to me are things that we need to think about because the cost is so much more than just dollars and cents. But coming back to business-wise, one of the ways we curb this, knowing full well that aluminum bottles that we use cost dollars versus plastic, which is cents.
Yes.
And the ingredients we use are highly qualitative. We don't use things like sulfates. We use like a coconut derivative as a surfactant. So all these cost a lot more because they're not the cheaper chemical-based products. Ingredients, I mean. So what we do is we try to focus our business. 50% of it is direct to consumers, so D2C. But the remaining 50%, we focus on selling directly to online retailers or to Sephora, to retailers. So we try as much as we can to avoid going through a lot of middlemen or distributors or wholesalers. To kind of make it a leaner sales model. So then we could still keep the prices of the product reasonably priced for consumers to consume, and yet we can still have enough margins for us to be profitable.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
cutting
what we
out the
did.
middlemen, basically.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So, of course, we can't let you go without asking you to let us in on some future plans. You know, we hear that you're actually working on a powdered conditioner at the moment, and things are maybe more challenging on that front.
Yeah, conditioner is challenging because for shampoo, there's a foaming effect. So you know how much to use. There's a foaming, you foam and you know, okay, I can use more or less because there's a lathering effect that shows
you can see it.
You can see
Yeah.
it. When it comes to conditioner, you don't lather, which means the consumer may tend to use too much.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, or they may not get the right consistency and they may not get the right effect. So that's the challenge that we have. But other than that, we are planning to launch it in early 2025.
Oh, exciting.
We still have a lot of exciting things to launch, such as powder to foam face washes and powder to foam pet wash for our fur babies.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah. So, how else are you looking to make use of the opportunities from winning this award to further scale up your business even further?
I think this award really helps to, number one, solidify our business as a business plan that we could hopefully, go out more or maybe even find right partners or right investors because currently everything now is self-funded. So I think it's a matter of time where we get the right investors in strategically that we could then take the leap from a 7-figure business to a 9-figure business.
All
We
right.
need the right investors to come in, right partners to come in. So I guess this award could maybe open more doors.
All right. Well, making hair care better for the planet, one bottle at a time. Jlynn, thank you so much for sharing your inspiring journey with us today and for the work that you're doing. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Audrey.
Thanks, Jlynn. We've been speaking with Jlynn Chen, founder and CEO of the Powder Shampoo and the winner of the 2024 Most Promising Sustainability Startup Award. Keep it here on Money FM 89.3.